Where's the smart button?
There's no button that makes you smart, Max.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. I
don't want to be childish about this, Max. There's just not. Okay, that's the end of it. Not infinity. All right. So listen. Did you see the video I just sent you?
I saw it on mute and then I left halfway through and then I came back and there was people.
You can't see it on mute.
What is it?
It's just a Russian friend sent that to me. It's like driving along in Russia. Everyone's got a cam on their dashboard cam.
Yes.
And there's a bit of road rage. This guy cuts up this van, or a van cuts up a guy or something like that. And then the guy in front of the car comes out and he has strong words with the van driver. Mm-hmm. And out the other side of the van, a bunch of Disney characters get out. Like Square Bob, whatever, SpongeBob cuts out, like Minnie Mouse gets out, and a couple of other Disney characters get out, and they just kick the shit out of him. That's basically what happens. It's just a bunch of Disney characters getting this guy on the ground. I mean, it's not funny. I don't condone violence at all.
It's probably, maybe it's a little stage, maybe.
I don't know. Judge for yourself.
Probably.
I'll tell you what wasn't staged was my son stepping on a king cobra. You saw that video? There's not many people who can say that they've stepped on a king cobra and survived.
I don't know what he stepped on, but he was very macho until he did that.
Yeah, this is it. We've all got in our minds, right, that we are going to be like, if something happens, we're going to be just like those superheroes on TV.
Oh, yeah.
And well, you've seen how big my son is. He's not a little guy, you know?
No, it was there pumping.
He's a bodybuilder, right? He's a bodybuilder. And he's out in the sun in Malaysia and you flexing.
Something
He's like, I am manly. I am king of all I purvey.
And then he steps on something and he goes...
And he runs down one side of the mountain. You see the snake running down the other. Yeah. It's a bit like that video of me when I went bungee jumping. I thought I was going to look cool. I don't show anybody that video. All right. So we'll have to edit this. We'll put this at the back. What I've decided we do now is we do the whole back. We were backwards first. So we'll do
we put this in the back.
We'll do this in the back. Yeah.
It's going to be uncomfortable.
So in which case, actually, if we're doing this at the back, let's do the whole back bit, the after show talk.
All right. Because should we talk backwards? Because that's difficult.
Yeah. I'm not sure anybody could tell the difference with you, Max. But
hey, what do you mean?
What do you mean? Hey, listen. So here's what we're going to talk about on the after show thing that's before the show starts.
Right.
You've got your grinder.
Right.
I've got my cup. And the first thing I have to say is to those people that face palmed me when last week or whenever it was that I said, I think this is one cup. I can't get it out. It's 2 cups. It actually is 2 cups.
It's 2 cups, but it's one because they're welded together.
Basically, it's not my fault. What I'm trying to say to you, cup people, butterfly cup people, is it's not my fault because they really are jammed in there. The distributor jammed them really tight in. But I made coffee like you suggested, Max, in this cup, and I drank from this cup, and I've left it in there for a while. And slurped it later. So look, here's how it works. So basically, it's like this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
And it goes press here, close one. So you just close this lot in here, comme ça.
Right.
And so for the people listening, I've got this.
There's
this cup. Then you do that one, and what you're left with is your pot noodle looking device.
Right.
So for the people listening on the podcast, basically, this is a cup with like a flare coming off each side, and you fold the flares in, so you don't need to have a top, a lid. You don't need to have a straw either, because there's a there's a like a little gap there.
Yeah, that's
where you slurp it out of. And I got to tell you,
flap system that interlocks, so
it's so simple.
Folds.
It's so simple. The only possible design flaw is that when you put them tightly together, you can't separate them.
Right. Well, I'm not sure it's a design fault, to be honest. I think it's
no, it's not a problem with me, Max. It's a design fault. It's probably me. No, it's probably me. Look, I'm giving this my endorsement. I really like this. It tasted absolutely fine. There was no paper taste to it at all. There's definitely no plastic taste.
With just water. You tried with just water.
Oh, no, I didn't try with just water. I tried it with coffee.
That's how you taste the.
Oh, well, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I didn't.
Okay, boil a kettle.
All right, I've got.
We do
All
it
right,
on-
I've
we
got.
do it-
All right. I've got.
How
I'll
about
do
that?
another. I'll do it just for you, Max. I'll do.
How
another
about we do
experiment.
it while we talk?
No, because I'll have
Brilliant.
to leave, and I can't leave the audience with you, Max. I mean, I'm cruel, but I'm not that cruel.
No.
So I just
Okay,
wanted to
okay.
say that I did it with coffee, and I
Uh-huh.
tasted the coffee before I put it in the cup. I tasted it after I put it in the cup, and I tasted it an hour later.
Mhm.
And it tasted just the same. It tasted absolutely great, and it was very easy to drink out of. I didn't really miss having, you know, a plastic. In fact, you know what? I actually like. Tell you what I like I hate coffee cup lids because you pick them up, and if this has got like a band around it that gives it a lot of stability. And a lot of those coffee cups, especially the cheaper ones,
also
they
it doesn't
don't, apart from being too hot, and this wasn't hot at all to hold, apart from being too hot, when you pick it up, if you squeeze a little bit, the lid comes off, those cheap lids, if you've got a cheapy lid.
Yeah.
And that whole thing just kind of annoys me. It's just one of those little annoyances, like an unfeng shui thing. This is very feng shui. This is very... It's natural. It just works. It doesn't add anything to the flavor, as far as I could tell.
Nick,
and it's
is
simple.
it all in one piece?
Yeah, it's all in
Also,
one piece.
the band around it is it?
Yeah, it's all in one piece.
Right.
I mean, I haven't tried to rip it out.
The one.
Hold on, let me
the
try
one
and rip it out. No, it's all in one piece, buddy.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's got this little flappy thing on the inside. Do you see the flappy thing?
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and basically you put that down first, and it stops it from. It's an anti-splash.
Right.
So you can shake it quite a bit before anything will actually leak out the spout.
They've been very serious about the.
And I thought of this. I haven't tried this, so don't hold me to blame if this works. But you see the way it's got the spouty on the left and the right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you imagine the listeners that, like I said, it's got these flares. As you fold it in, it creates a little smiley face, like that kind of shape. It creates sort of a half crescent.
Yeah,
is it a crescent or
like
half crescent?
if you were to if you were to fold a paper cup on both sides, you would have the two edges coming up.
Yeah. So I like my description better. It's like a crescent, and and at each end of the crescent is a little hole where you can sip out of, and it's not flimsy, so it doesn't, it's not going to close on you. But here's the thing. So if you imagine it's got this crescent, and then on each side there's the spout. If you're driving a car, as many of us car drivers do, and you want to put that into a cup holder, if you put it in the cup holder, not this way with the spout facing forwards and backwards, but this way, going side to side, unless you're shaking the car side to side, maybe you've got one of those 1980s type things with the bouncy suspension, then that, if you were to slam on the brakes or something else like that, that's going to have that forward movement, not the side to side movement. I can't see that coffee coming out.
Unless you're in America, in which case you will have lots of sloshing side by side. But that's...
I don't know what you're talking about.
American cars, they're typically...
Oh, because the softest suspension?
Yeah,
they like the cushy rides. And what's more, I guess it'd be kind of safer because you're not fiddling trying to open a little tab on a cup to slip it when you're driving.
Yeah,
but please send me the check for that endorsement, please, Butterfly Cup.
I like the fact that it's one piece as well, because normally what you see in paper cups is that you have that band around it to avoid burning your hand. Yeah, that's a separate bit normally. So it creates a bit of a mess because you have lots of rings. You have to assemble it, as you were saying last time.
Yeah.
You have to put it all together when you give it away. In that case is all in one.
It's all in one. It's a really nice, neat solution. I have no idea how much it costs and whether it's like viable for people to have. But as far as a consumer experience is concerned, it's really good. What do you got for us, Max?
What
have you got for us?
What have I got
for us?
So I've got the grinder. So nobody has done a review of this thing yet.
Yeah.
So it's the 1zpresso, the 1zpresso, 1zpresso. That one, it's written here.
Yeah, possibly the worst name. I mean, it's kind of like, it looks cool, but you can't
Yeah,
say
I mean,
it.
I wanted to recommend it to friends, but I don't know how to tell it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to tell them, yeah, get a Comandante.
Yeah, Comandante sounds really good, right?
Yeah, I
Because
know.
you can just say that. I got a Comandante. What have you got?
Yeah.
I've got a 1zpresso. It's a
Yeah.
bit of a, it's, you know, it's not the, you know.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest,
Easiest name.
so let's do a full disclosure. I don't own enough hand grinders, and I don't have enough hand grinders experience to be comparing it to anything. One thing I can say is that this grinder is by far better than any grinder that I have, and I have tried. Electric,
Wow.
or yes, it's that good.
Wow.
I mean, I thought that the grinders I had were pretty decent, and I have
what kind of let's be clear. What kind of grinders have you talking?
So
about? What have you got?
I have a Gadja MDF, a Paros grinder, which is with the Paros. It's a conical burr grinder, which is very competent. I have a Fiorenzato commercial grinder and a La Cimbali commercial grinder. So grinder-wise, I'm covered.
Yeah.
Yet this kicks all of those asses. It's absolutely a way ahead of the game of these.
I feel like they're probably bribed you on the side, Max. They paid you something.
I
come clean. They've paid you, haven't they, Max?
No. I honestly
flipped.
Got it, and I was really skeptical. I haven't used any of the electric grinders since I got it.
Really?
Yes. It is extremely quick. It does a super nice job for espresso. Actually, I discover flavors that I wasn't tasting. And it's really easy to dial in, very quick. And also, it does a very good job with pour over. And I'm doing lots of pour overs these days. It has pretty much zero fines. I am struggling to find any sort of fines in these. When instead using the MDF, I was often clogging the papers because it creates lots of fines, especially doing single dosing on those because you don't have, you have lots of popcorning.
You get lots of
so you get lots of fines. In this case, this is amazing. It really shines on pour overs, and I'm loving it.
I really want one. Tell me about the internal mechanics of it.
So the mechanics. So this comes in two different shapes. I'm going to dismantle it in favor of camera. So this is the K Pro.
So what we've got here is it's actually really nice looking. So it's combination in terms of materials. There's wood in the middle, and then
vinyl. This is vinyl. It's
not vinyl.
Wood.
Okay.
It looks like wood, but
faux
it's
wood.
Vinyl.
Faux wood in the middle, and
you get two rubber bands on the side, and then it's all aluminum.
Okay, they're thick rubber bands. They're rubber strips. Yeah.
This is machined from full. So this is
the head.
One. Yes, all of it. All of these
the whole thing's
machined from full, from a piece,
from a single piece.
Yes.
Wow.
This is brilliant. And I also understand why they've done it in aluminum. And I do not agree personally with using so much aluminum, but I can see why, because it would have been extortionately expensive to do it in steel.
Right.
But I would have preferred if this was in steel. Obviously, probably the cost would have been twice
as much.
Why?
I have no idea why, what you're talking about.
I have a few problems with aluminum. The first one is that it's a soft metal. So it will it will dent, it will bend easily. It's this is probably hard anodized aluminum, so it's harder, and it probably has very good hardness. The problem is it's still aluminum, so it's a soft metal. It's a bit light. It's great because it actually heats up at room temperature very quickly because it has a very good conductivity, thing that you wouldn't find in stainless steel. So if you have a cold kitchen, as soon as you grab it in your hands, it's going to start creating condensation. And if the coffee is a little warmer, you're going to have condensation from the water of the coffee that gets everywhere, which is not so good. Plus aluminum, and this is a bit of a paranoia. It is not, I don't think it's a definitive study, but there is a link between aluminum and Alzheimer.
Yeah, that's right. There is. Yeah, a
and
lot of heavy metals and Alzheimer's. I mean,
yes, but
mercury and
aluminium, yes. Well, I don't want to go there. It's a very, very difficult topic to touch, and I do not want to go because I'm actually a biologist, and
got you. Okay, we'll stay
I
away
don't
from
wanna.
that. It's just okay. So
So
aluminium might have some issues with some people.
exactly. So it's not something you want to cook in, or you want to have lots of food interaction with aluminium. It's perfectly fine because it's not in any of the moving parts, because the moving parts are actually steel.
Got you.
So this is the parts that do the cutting and that might have any sort of
they're touching, making contact with the beans. Yeah, they're made of steel.
That's all steel. Then you have a catcher at the bottom that screws in. So you have I've managed to put about 50 grams of coffee here. You can put, they say up to 45, 50 grams. You can. It starts to become very full. And then obviously it depends on the bean, because if you get very, very, very dark roasts, obviously they're more fluffy. So you would have a lot more volume per weight.
Right.
So anyway, that's more or less what you get. This is not the easiest thing to clean. There is another type.
You get a lot of static on that?
It's not really static. It just literally sticks to the bottom. I wouldn't call it static, because it knocks off very easily. And they provide you with a very nice brush.
I was about to say, why didn't they provide you with the brush?
They do. They do provide you with a brush, and as well.
That looks suspiciously like a makeup brush, Max. Is that actually your makeup brush?
It's very soft. You have actually two. You have harder bristles and soft bristles to get the fines out, and then you have also a blower.
Okay, yeah, that's like one of those things. That's like a camera blower. If you've ever had it's like a little. So what Max has got in his hand, he's got basically his makeup brush, which he's pretending is a brush for his.
My makeup brush that is branded 1zpresso, as you see.
Okay, all right, fair enough. And like it's what's called a bulb blower. And anybody who does photography will know what that is, because it's what you use to clean the lens sensor in a camera. And it's like a little, you just squeeze it and it blows out clean air.
So it does a very nice job. The catcher is pretty good. There is another model that is the K plus or K plus or something that has a different design on these. And these contains two moving parts. So it attaches, instead of being a screw, it attaches with magnets.
Oh, nice.
And the bottom is removable. So you have actually here sort of imagine at the bottom of the catcher, you have a tamper with a tip at the top.
Yeah.
And that comes off, so you can pull it up, and so you can deposit your grounds directly into the portafilter by just lifting that.
Oh, nice.
And the grounds will flow around it, and you can then move it and rattle it, and it will go down. I personally am not a big fan of that solution, because I can see, I can imagine lots of retention and grounds getting stuck everywhere. I prefer to have something like this that gets cleaned up. Plus, it's a more complicated design, so it's more expensive.
Okay.
Marginally.
Keep it simple.
Yes. I prefer something a little more simple. Then you have a set of burrs, which are absolutely fantastic.
Are they flat burrs or are they conical?
No, conical burrs. So all of hand grinders, they all have conical burrs.
Okay, so I just asked a stupid question.
Can
we edit that?
Of course we can. And one of the things I like the most of this particular model, and this is one of the main reasons I got these, is that normally with the hand grinders, you have to open the catcher and you adjust the grind from the bottom. From the bottom burr. In this case, the adjustment is on the top
burr. Yeah.
So the top burr, you have numbers, and you have a moving ring, and that adjusts the distance on the burr. So you see, if I go,
so Max is twiddling the top here, and we're seeing the bottom burr extrude.
See, if I go coarser, there you go. Then the top and the bottom, they come off by unscrewing them, and they actually go counterclockwise. No, sorry, clockwise.
Oh, okay.
So they go the opposite way because these are machined. Okay. So you can actually take it all apart to clean it.
Very important.
Yes. So, well, screw it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to regret it later when I have to recalibrate it, which is not the most complicated thing to do, but it's also a little bit of a nuisance to do.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take it off...
So you're taking the elastic bands off. So the elastic bands hold it all together.
No. The elastic bands are just... I think these are...
the grip.
Yeah, to aid with the grip. I don't know what to do with them, to be honest. I like them on and I like them off. I can't decide yet. For now, I keep them on because they're a little easier to grip it. But
right.
Not
maybe
that it slips
more
or
comfortable
anything.
on the hand. Yeah.
Yeah. The movement is actually very smooth. So to dismantle it, you press the burr at the bottom and then you undo the top screw here. And that is what you also use to adjust the... to recalibrate it. So I take the top off.
The little top nut off. So he's just pushed on with his left hand and then on the bottom. Oh my God, that came apart so quickly.
Yeah.
Like literally in a couple of seconds, the whole thing's in pieces.
Yeah, it's really well machined. And then you end up with the burr at the bottom.
The burr just comes out.
Take off easily.
Fantastic. Look at that. So now we're looking at a spindle with the bottom burr on it.
Yeah. And you have your shaft.
And
this is all steel. So this bit is all steel. And there is a magnet at the top here that actually catches on the handle.
It just helps to get into the right location, yeah?
Yes, that catches on the handle, which is amazing. It is actually real wood.
That's nice. It's a nice looking handle.
Yes. Oh, thank you. This catches on the handle and you see that it's actually magnetic.
Gotcha. Nice.
So that's one bit. Then you get the bottom burr, and that is as well quite easy to take off. You just have to remember which way to unscrew it.
Yeah, because it's not counterclockwise, but it's counterintuitive.
Yes, because and that's it really. That's pretty
the
much
whole thing is apart now. Pretty much, it's very simple.
Pretty much, yes. And then you have, of course, you can take also the top off because to clean it. And this is how you adjust the grind. So this is the grind adjuster. You have a bearing here, a ball bearing here, and you have another 2 ball bearings inside.
Wow.
And this is your catcher for the beans. And this is actually machined from full. So this is a brilliant thing. This whole thing, you can actually see the CNC machining inside. So this was originally was a single piece of aluminium that's been machined.
Well, it's fantastic. You're taking the whole thing apart, and I have to say, watching you just reminded me of Full Metal Jacket when they take when they take their guns apart, and I could just hear you almost like going through in your mind here. There are many grinders, but this one is mine.
Yes. This is my grinder.
This is my grinder. There are many grinders, but this one is mine.
Yeah. And it's actually, to be honest, I haven't used anything else. Since.
But it's okay for espresso. You've been into pour overs, and everyone knows that conical grinders, conical burrs are good for pour overs. But the flavor profile for espresso has always been a little bit.
It is amazing. It is actually way better than any other grinders I own. I haven't used any of them, and I'm planning to sell them all because I'm not using them. This is much better.
Wow.
And it has very little retention. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer, to be honest. And I can grind a cup of espresso, so 18 grams of espresso in about, I don't know, a minute, 2.
I'm slightly jealous.
It's not a hard work.
It's not a nice characteristic, but I'm feeling slightly jealous, Max. And if you were a real friend, you'd let me borrow it for a while so I can make up my mind whether I wanted to keep it or not. Maybe. You know, it's like, who is it? It was Simpsons, when Homer's always going around to his next door neighbor, Flanders, and borrowing stuff and then never giving it back.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
So I'm Homer and you're Flanders, and I want to borrow your grinder. I've seen
too many Simpsons, so I'm not comfortable with that. No. So there is very little retention. These I've cleaned last week, so this is a week of use.
Yeah, and there's not much in there.
No, hardly anything. It's actually very, very good. I'm actually
plus it's even quite therapeutic. Even the cleaning of it, he's cleaning it away with his makeup brush.
Yeah. It's very zen.
Yeah, it is very zen. Well, look, I'm and that would actually double as a makeup brush. I'm just thinking if you could ask your wife for maybe a little bit of application, a little bit of mascara, and a little bit of on the top of the head there, just to take the shine off. That would be, you could do that too.
Yeah, you're right. I should. Another thing, the burrs of this thing are incredibly sharp. And there is another version of it that comes with Untitled Burr birds.
Hey, can you get replacement burrs easily for it? That's something I didn't check.
You can, because the guys are actually very active, and they are coffee enthusiasts, and they clearly are designers, because this is brilliant. This is really, really brilliant. The only thing I have a bit of a reserve on is that they do tell you not to take anything apart, and I haven't, because to be honest, I want to keep the water.
You're sitting there in a video with the thing in pieces. So you're like sitting there going...
No. So they tell you not to take anything apart. So for example, they tell you not to take these apart.
All right.
Which I know I could. I just don't want to.
Right.
So I am perfectly aware that these are easy to take apart. For example, this is just a hex screw. Just take that off, and that will release the burr. And then I can change the burr. In this case, to be honest, I don't know how to get in there, but there are on the side here. You can see that there is.
So this is the upper burr that you're pointing at here, which is kind of like it's seated inside of a cylindrical machined piece of steel.
Yes, these are two pieces, one inside the other, and I don't know how they are put together.
Be interesting to know because they do blunten after a while, and like a year or two down the road, you'll probably want to replace it.
Yes, but to be honest, these I don't think they're going to be blunt anytime soon. Probably something else is going to give before.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure you can actually get this piece alone.
We're writing a review on a Breville at the moment, on a Sage.
Sage what?
Yeah, the Barista Express.
Right.
And my son's actually got one. He's had one for a year or two. And one of the issues with it, well, because it's actually a perfect kind of machine for someone like him. He wants to have a little bit of creativity. He wants to make his espressos, but he's not like into it like us. He wants to push the button, thing to be heated up in 30 seconds to make his coffee and to get on with his life, go to the gym. True. So but when we're looking into the market for parts, yes, Sage in the UK has all the parts, and you should buy from them, but you can't for about half of them. And for a month I've been checking their site, and consistently about 50% of their that's nice 50% of their parts are out of stock. But then if you want to go and get it, you go to Amazon. But what people are doing is they're arbitraging, so that they're buying them from Sage when they can get them, and then they know that Sage is going to go out of stock for a month or 2 months or whatever it is. And if you need one, you go to Amazon. The prices are like double or triple.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And so now this has made me very, very aware, that you've got to be able to get parts for these things. Oh, that sounded nice. There's a little
it's actually really well built. And so now I'm recalibrating it. So I have to make sure that the red dot is on the 0. As you see, it's a little off.
Yeah.
So the way you do it is you count the dots there. So it's
so we're looking on the top of the the grinder.
So it's
like
about 4 dots. So
actually very nicely. It's very clear.
Yeah.
And they're machined in, like those numbers are machined in. They're not like painted on, right? So they're not going to disappear. These are like they do on washing machines.
No, one of the things is this thing cannot be washed.
Well,
like a gremlin.
Why would you want to wash it?
Well, when you receive it, it's a bit oily from the machining, and that's a thing that.
Oh, is it really? So you want to put through a few beans on it? Okay.
No, I actually, to be honest, I'm gonna say it right here and deny it ever again. I did wash it, the parts that you can wash, because it was gross. And I'm sorry, but machining oil, it doesn't belong in my grinder.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, all right. So there's a tip for people who don't want to have machine oil in their coffee. Who doesn't like a little bit of machine oil in their coffee?
Well, you have to
an additive
think
that I put in.
Yeah, you have to think what you put on, what you put
Do you know
in
what
there.
beans I'm really drinking at the moment, Max?
Ooh, I am drinking. Well, what are you drinking?
I'm thinking whether we should keep this in as part of the. Okay, so I've not been drinking. So I've drunk, but I forgot to talk about them. I'm going to contact the guy. Possibly one of my favorite beans. A
Red
bar.
Bear. Christmas blend, right?
I see, brilliant. From Red Burr, the Christmas thing, and also their Indian. This is from Red Burr. There's a company called Red Burr. They're based up in Guildford. They're actually not far from where I live. And they've got a Christmas blend, which I've got to find out what the heck is in there because they're really good. And then they've got Indian Mysore, possibly not the the best choice of name, but the Baba Dudan. I can't say it. Babubadan. And the Babubadan, the Yabadabadubadan is a Indian, whatever it is. They were both very good. But that Christmas blend, wow, that was good.
That was actually my least favorite, funny enough.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
I did enjoy the well, I was drinking a lot of pour overs and a lot of lighter roasts.
You've gone over to the other side.
I did visit the other side. I did find it pleasant. But it's a period where I'm drinking a lot more lighter roasts, and the dark roast of the Christmas blend was a little too much for me. I couldn't handle it very well.
I need strong coffee at the moment. I tell you what.
Yeah. By the way, just for the viewers, I just recalibrated I re-put it together and recalibrated it.
Yeah.
How long it takes. It's a very simple process.
It's all done.
Yes. And
so next week, well, actually we'll also maybe, I think we'll say this on the show, not just in the after show. Next week, we're going to talk about our favorite coffees of the year that we've gone through, because we've been trying a few again.
Mm-hmm.
We've been trying a few again to see what we like, or the ones that we like the most, to see if we still like them. And
very, very interesting.
Yeah. And so Max is going to have some of his, and I've got some of mine. And we might try and even classify them or break them up into, your dark roast or your lighter roasts and things like that. But we'll go through that next week. So that's something to stay tuned for.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we might take a break for a couple of weeks. I think
it's wise.
Yeah, apparently I've got family.
Yeah, so I heard.
And and my dad's very excited about actually seeing everybody, because obviously, this lockdown's been very tough on old people. And so he's really looking forward to. So I'm going to just switch off for a little bit. And on the weekends, maybe go down and see him and do some family stuff. So we'll wrap up next week with the our favorite beans, and then we'll be back in January in 2021.
Wow.
Which is, I'd love to think we're also optimistic at the end of the year, but with not to get all political, but I kind of think that there may be different challenges possibly next year.
Yeah, there's a lot of challenged people in many different ways.
All right, buddy. I'll see you next week.
See you.
And cut. Oh my God.
This was short, wasn't it?
Well, we haven't done the actual podcast yet, Max.
Oh, we haven't?
No.
Oh.
That was the after podcast.
Right.
We've got to do the podcast now.
Ah, okay.